Welcome back to the channel. This is the IPP Education Hub. If you are struggling with ED and considering an IPP, or if you are partnering somebody who is going through the IPP experience and you have questions about the journey, then you've come to the right place. A common question that I get regarding the IPP, and one that I had very early on in the process, was what is the durability of an IPP? And essentially, could you potentially break it, whether that means during pumping it up or actually using it during intercourse? This is a very reasonable question, and I think that anybody who is thinking about getting an IPP will want to consider what the durability and longevity of this device actually is. The good news is that these implants are tested and meant to be used regularly and vigorously. I've mentioned in previous videos that I personally have the Coloplast Titan One Touch, and after researching this product very early on, I came across the information that said that these devices, specifically the Coloplast Titan, should last thousands of cycles. This means pumping it up and deflating it, you should get thousands of cycles of use. In addition to the consideration of how many cycles you can get out of an implant, many people also ask whether or not it could possibly be broken during intercourse. And the answer is that in some cases, it possibly could break. But as I mentioned with the cycling, these implants are tested vigorously, and it's very unlikely that you will break it during sexual activity. In order to prevent any sort of issues, make sure that you're listening to your doctor's medical advice in terms of how long you should wait before resuming sexual activity after getting your IPP procedure. If you are not patient and you start having sex before they give you the green light, then you do run the risk of not allowing your body the full time to heal. In addition to using your implant too soon, you'll want to be considerate of trauma or any sort of blunt force to your IPP. However, when speaking with my urologist, the general sort of mindset that he told me was that if you wouldn't do it to your natural penis, then don't do it to the IPP. But at the same time, if you feel like your natural penis would be able to withstand something, then the implant should also be able to handle that experience as well. Aside from being concerned about whether or not the pump might work or if you might potentially break it during sex, it's also important to be aware that with an implant, there are some other things that might come up, such as general wear on your implant that might affect the tubing, the reservoir where the saline is held, or the actual pump itself. For example, I've heard some men who say that when they go to pump their device, it will get stuck, and therefore the device is no longer usable in that scenario. However, my urologist has told me that most of these scenarios will happen gradually over time, and as I've mentioned before, many implants come with this 10 to 15, sometimes even 20-year window where they tell you that you should be okay during that time frame. Now, I know for myself, one of the biggest fears that I have is the implant not working properly in a time when you need it most. And so what I mean by that is if you're getting ready to have sex and you're excited for the moment and all of a sudden the pump doesn't work, or what if you're able to inflate it but then you're not able to deflate it in a moment and then you're stuck with a rigid erection without being able to fix it. I presented both of these considerations to my urologist, and he told me that most of the time with an implant, what you'll notice is a gradual decline in quality of the implant. And so what that means is that you may notice that you're not able to pump it to the full rigidity that you're familiar with when first getting the implant, or maybe the implant isn't holding that rigidity because it's allowing the saline to pump back into the reservoir due to longevity of the implant itself. If you notice any of these signs early on, then it's important to contact your urologist almost immediately and let them know, and they'll be able to give you a better idea as to whether or not this is a concern or something that is normal and isn't going to affect you. For myself, having the implant for as long as I haven't experienced any of those issues, knock on wood that I won't, but certainly it is something to think about What if this implant stops working and I experience an issue? To piggyback off that, I will also say that I haven't necessarily babied my implant in any way. When I first started using it, I was very gentle with it. But as I became more confident and familiar and used to how it feels, a lot of that gentle energy sort of dissipated. And instead, I was very excited and eager to test the capabilities of it in that regard. And I'm very pleased with the results that I've had and the quality and durability of the implant. So as we wrap up this video, again, if you are thoughtful of your IPP and wondering whether or not you can break it, the answer is yes. It's an implant, it's a medical device, it can break. However, these implants are designed to be used regularly and even vigorously. And sometimes these implants will last 10, 15, maybe 20 years with the proper care and not any sort of excessive use. Again, you don't have to baby it, but if you wouldn't do it to your natural penis, then don't try it with your implant either. So if you are considering an IPP implant and you want to make sure that this isn't something that will potentially break inside of your body, that is a great consideration, and you are thinking of all the right things before getting your IPP. But the good news is that with most modern IPPs, you shouldn't worry about or have any concern when it comes to durability and longevity. Thanks so much for watching this video. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on those push notifications so that you're in the loop every single time I release a new video here at the IPP Education Hub. Thanks for watching, and as always, be kind to yourself and be kind to others.